Hi, my name is Lyla, and I'm a young adult leader. I coordinate events here, and this is just a part of my testimony. So back in, I want to say, December of 2019, I just graduated high school. I started attending community college, and I noticed things just weren't the same for me emotionally. I just didn't feel like myself. I noticed I just felt very heavy, and I was crying all the time. And I've always struggled with anxiety since I was a child, but my anxious thoughts were just out of control. I didn't really know what was going on, but in other words, I felt like I was just spiraling. So fast forward a little bit, I decided to make a call to my doctors and just say hey, this is what's going on with me. I want some help because I'm struggling. And I told the therapist what was happening, and she told me it sounds like you have major depressive disorder and generalized anxiety disorder. And it's a reoccurrent episode. And so basically what a reoccurrent episode means in clinical terms is that it's supposed to reoccur over your lifetime. It's chronic. So that felt like a sentence over my life at the time. And anxiety, again, I've always struggled with it, so I wasn't surprised, but it was becoming crippling, so that was very discouraging for me during that time. So probably in 2020, I started attending therapy just to try and take a step forward to help myself. I was actively in church. I was attending young adults at the time, but I was very lukewarm. I was still in sin. I didn't really have a concept of what a relationship with Christ really looked like. So that part of my life wasn't as fruitful as it should have been, so that struggle was just 10 times harder than it should have been. I was also in a relationship at the time, and instead of leaning on Christ like I should have been, I was leaning on that person. I was dependent on them to make me feel better. When I was going through these moments of depression and anxiety, I just went to them for comfort instead of Christ. And I also didn't have really any friends at the time, so it was just a very lonely season in my life. Despite being in a relationship, despite going to church, I just felt very isolated. So as time is progressing, I'm actively going to community college, but I'm struggling with my assignments. I'm failing some of my assignments because I just mentally was not doing well. I couldn't keep up with the workload. I didn't want to attend classes. I had to ask my professors if I could be excused from some assignments because I just didn't have the capacity to complete them. And I just felt like things were getting worse. I still was attending church, but I just felt like I was going to go at that point. Nothing was really progressing with my walk with Christ. So again, things were starting to feel like they were going downhill faster. And my therapist started to tell me, the depression's not mild anymore. We would call this moderate to severe. And I unfortunately just accepted that. I was like, okay, this is how things are gonna be. I was struggling to just do life daily, and I felt like, in all honesty, a shell of myself. I felt like I could be in a room full of my family members and people from church, and I would feel 1,000 miles away from them. I just mentally was not in the moment with them because I was just so stuck in my head and stuck in this depression. And I just remember my self-esteem was going down, anxiety was increasing, depression was decreasing. And at one point, I just remember thinking what's the point? I can't deal with this anymore. I don't want to be here because it's just so hard. And I truly believe that was the enemy trying to take me out during that time, but I didn't know it at the time. But I just was I can't give up, but I was struggling with these thoughts of you shouldn't be here. This is too much to deal with. Just give up. Just quit. You're not worth it. You don't have any friends. What's the point? But I was determined not to give up. So I just persisted. I would go to work. I would go to school. I would go to church. And kind of just mask it, even though I felt just, again, like a shell of myself. I would just be breaking down privately after work and after school and after church, and I just was like, God, why me? Why do I have to deal with this? What did I do wrong? Old trauma started resurfacing, and people that hurt me in the past, I started to get angry with them and more resentful. So I was just a very bitter person inside, and I was just angry and taking it out on others around me. So eventually some time went by, and I got out of that relationship that I was in, and I decided, I do need to put some effort towards feeling better because I can't do this. I can't do this anymore. So I started actively going to the gym, trying to make new friends. I did end up being blessed with a couple new friends. I transferred from community college to a university to finish my bachelor's, and I felt like I was slowly being pulled out of the depression I was struggling with. But it was still there. It still felt like a weight on me, and anxiety was just crippling. I was dealing with panic attacks. I'd wake up in the middle of the night feeling sick because I was just so anxious. So I was struggling, but things were starting to move in my life, I would say. And unfortunately at the time I did stop going to church. I stopped going to young adults because I just didn't see the point of it at the time. But fast forward to 2023, I remember as I was straying away from church, I had a mentor at the time who was helping me with my walk with Christ when I was previously attending church. And she just reached out to me and was like, hey, I'm just thinking of you. We're gonna have a young adult conference this summer. I would love to invite you. I'll buy your ticket. And I was just, remember contemplating like, what could possibly go wrong? Like, they're not gonna criticize you, even though it feels like they are, just go. And so I went to the young adult conference, and I went by myself. I didn't know what to expect, and that night I just remember feeling like I missed this. Like, there is no other place than God's house that will bring me this sense of peace and just familiarity and comfort. And so that night when they did the altar call, I did rededicate my life to Christ at 23 years old. And that was just such a blessing in my life, because after that point, I just was like, okay, like, this is it. Like, I'm going all in for Christ. I can't deal with this anymore and just let the enemy run me down and try and ruin my life, So I started to find ways to serve at young adults. I started to just start attending church regularly, just being present and running after Christ as fast as I can, despite, some stumbles along the way. But it's really just blessed me truly, because as I'm running closer to Christ, depression just melted off to one point. I remember thinking, like, I don't feel depressed anymore. I don't struggle with thoughts of death and sadness. I don't struggle with thoughts of low self-esteem and unworthiness anymore. It just started to fade away, which was honestly mind-blowing to me, because I remember when I was depressed, I would cry out to God, like, just take this from me, just take it. But I was also comfortable being where I was in a weird sense. I was comfortable being in the depression because I honestly accepted the sentence of it being chronic in a lifetime, and that was truly the enemy trying to deceive me that this was my life. But yeah, one day I just remember things were looking up. I slowly started serving more at young adults to the point where they asked me to run events, and that was truly a step forward with my walk with Christ, because I started meeting these beautiful women of God and developing friendships that I've been praying for so long, and just finally feeling at peace in my mind and my spirit. I still struggled with anxiety. I still do to this day struggle with anxiety, but I know where to turn to now. I know what's truth and what's life. And I do want to share a verse that I feel like now I can look back on and think, this is truly what God has placed me in. This is truly what my testimony is. And it's in Isaiah 118, and it's 118:17. And he said, I will not die, instead I will live to tell what the Lord has done. And then jumping to 13, going backwards, sorry. My enemies did their best to kill me, but the Lord rescued me. The Lord is my strength and my song. He has given me victory. And then jumping down to 118:21, I thank you for answering my prayer and giving me victory. So, despite the fact that it took about 3 years of depression and severe anxiety, the Lord still was faithful. He still heard my cry, and He, in His timing, came through and placed me where I needed to be. Even though I couldn't see it back then, now where I'm at now, I can see everything coming together in His perfect timing. So I am happy to say, again, I'm not struggling with depression anymore. I've learned where to go to when I'm anxious. I'm currently finished with my bachelor's degree and I'm pursuing a master's degree, and just serving Christ and running towards Him as fast as I can, and He has truly just turned my morning into dancing. And this is my testimony.